So remember, you can get most things you want out of life, but it'll take 1 or 2 years longer than you expected. Be patient. And that patience is one of the most rare ingredients found in this modern world. Almost everybody I meet, and I see this on TikTok, people posting their journey to financial success. In January, I was working at McDonald's, having a hard life. In February, I quit. In March, I launched my business. In April, here I am, and they show all these, videos of them in Dubai or in a private jet. I'm going, a 4-month journey ain't a real journey. Nobody made money in 4 years. Money's made with blood, sweat, and tears. In fact, if you look at the science, for example, of people who win the lottery, the average person who wins the lottery is dead broke again in 2 to 5 years. You see this in professional athletes, people who didn't grow up learning the fundamentals and the foundations of wealth. I call those the 300 foundations. When you don't learn those 300 foundations, that those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 million, the average NFL player is broke again in 2 years. Now, some of that is from the training side, not learning. Our school system doesn't teach you. But the second aspect of that comes from a lack of patience, meaning you make your first $1 million, and now you've tasted wealth. So you're like, I'm going to make 100 million. And it only took me, 3 years to make a first million. I bet you I can make 100 million in, now I'm better. Now it only take me 2 years. That's not how the game goes. In fact, if you look at, law of diminishing returns, it's kind of like when you're out of shape, it's easy to lose your first 20 pounds of fat or 30 pounds or 40 pounds. But when you get lean, to optimize that next step takes tremendous patience. You can get what you want out of life, most things, but it'll take you 1 to maybe 10 years longer than you think. 19 years old and my second mentor, Alan Nation. I'm not talking about crypto flash millionaire. I'm not talking about an NFT flash millionaire, like the lottery ticket winner. He said to me, real millionaires would take 12 to 20 years. The average real millionaire, multi-millionaire that keeps their money takes 12 to 20 years. And I remember being 19 and going, I'm not going to wait 12 to 20 years. And sure, you can shorten that learning curve, but think about it this way. That same mentor, Alan Nation, said, look, Ty, success, building a business, creating money, it's a little bit like having a child. At the beginning, it's a lot of work, keeps you up all night. It's like a baby. Then it reaches kind of the toddler stage. You still have to watch it, but you get a little break. Then it starts to grow up. It becomes, preteen, teenager. At that stage, they're good to go on their own for a day or two, but you better keep your eye on the ball. And he said, if you wait long enough, that baby, that success you created long enough, it'll eventually take care of you when you're old. And I remember thinking, that's a good analogy, but I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait 18 to 21 years. And he said to me, well, Ty, I was like, I'm just going to work harder and smarter, and then I can make it all the first year. And he said, well, what happens if you overfeed a baby? Can you make it grow twice as fast by feeding it twice as fast? Can you make a baby grow 10 times faster? No, you'll kill the baby. And so a lot of people, because they don't have patience, they don't understand the cadence of wealth creation. Even somebody like the first internet billionaires, Bill Gates started at 12 building his first computers. He was a multi-billionaire, 20s and early 30s. That's a solid 10 to 20 years. You think about people like, Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk. It took a while. He was the richest person in the world. I remember reading, he started PayPal at 01, made some money, made solid money. I think his cut, he says, was under 150 million. Reinvest. That was like 01, 02, 03. And he's the richest man in the world in 2021. But he's a patient man. And that's what I said. You can get most things you want out of life, but it's going to take 1, 2 years longer than you expect, maybe a decade. And you can't just feed the baby more to try to speed it up. So my advice to you is very simple here. How do you cut it in half? That's about the best you can do. Give you 3 simple ways to cut the learning curve so you'll still need patience, but maybe not quite as much. Well, number 1 rule is what Warren Buffett says. It's true you only learn through mistakes, but there's no rule the mistakes have to be your own. You only learn through mistakes, but there's no rule the mistakes have to be your own. Meaning, learn from the mistakes of others. Read biographies and autobiographies. I'm condensing the life history of somebody, all their mistakes. Yeah, it's true you only learn from mistakes, but there's no rule they have to be your own. Read a book, listen to a book. that condenses the mistakes. Number 2, don't get high on your own supply, meaning use social media, but don't have it used against you. The second you're consuming 1 to 2 hours a day of Reels and TikToks, like, how are you going to cut your learning curve? So I use social media. I put messages out. It creates revenue for me, but I don't consume it much. Be careful what you're consuming if you want to build wealth in half the time it takes the average person. That also goes with food, but we'll stick with the media side of things. So then the third thing is shadow. Why did I say it 3 times? Shadow 3 people for a year who have already gotten what you want and are 20 years ahead of you. Think it through. It'll be harder than you think, but it'll also be at the same time easier than you think. Humans don't learn through school as much as people think. You know how you mostly learn? Most kids growing up, it's their peer group. It's their teacher's body language, how they talk, the things they don't do. It's not actually the textbook itself and the lecture on the chalkboard. So shadow. One of my mentors, he made $2 billion, did mobile home, one of the biggest mobile home real estate developers / investors. He told me when he was a teenager, back in the 70s, he's an older guy now, he said, Ty, I lived in Virginia, and I asked around, who's the richest real estate person? And he said, I was 16 years old, and I went in this guy's elevator. I found out where his office was. And I kept going, took the elevator, went to the 3rd floor, met the secretary. Hi, I'm 16. I'd like to learn real estate. I'd like to shadow the owner of this real estate investment business. And the secretary nicely said, sorry, he's busy right now. And he went 3 times. Same thing. He went for months. He wouldn't come back every day, come once a month. Finally, he went and he hid behind the plant. He told me, he said, I hid behind the plant next to the elevator. As the guy got in the elevator, I came from around the plant, got in the elevator with him. I knew I had 3 little floors. I had 10 seconds to pitch him my elevator speech. And he told him, he said, hey, I'm 16. You don't know who I am, but I'd love to learn from you. And I'll get you donuts. I'll get you coffee. I'll travel with you. I'll do the grunt work, the boring stuff, if you'll just teach me what you know. And the guy took him under his wing. And he said, before he was 18 years old, he was making so much money. So he was making like $200,000 a year while he was in high school. And if one person that you want to shadow you won't say yes, move on. There's a lot of people. But you need an in-person person, ideally. Not everything can be done on Zoom, Google, and YouTube. So you can get what you want out of life. Most of the things. But it'll take 1 or 2 years longer to start working. Listen carefully. I didn't say you will get it in 1 to 2 years. Because in 1 to 2 years, it's not going to be done. You're not going to have everything you want. But the ball will start to roll.